This is pretty crazy. And it does tell us a lot about the country where we are today, because it's not just Tom Homan here, who, by the way, allegedly, because he denies it, but one of the things, he kind of denies it, it strikes to the heart of bribery laws in this country and how basically bribery is legal after the Supreme Court ruled in 2024. Let's go and put this up here on the screen. You had a new report from NBC News. They say Tom Homan was investigated for accepting $50,000 from undercover FBI agents. Trump's DOJ shut it down. The FBI justice officials closed the investigation, calling it a deep state probe in early 2025. The details are as such. Quote, in an undercover operation last year, the FBI recorded Tom Homan, now the White House border czar, accepting $50,000 in cash after indicating he could, quote, help the agents who were posing as business executives win government contracts in a second Trump administration. FBI and Justice Department plan to wait to see whether Homan would deliver on his alleged promise once he became the nation's top immigration official, but the case indefinitely stalled after Trump became president in January. In recent weeks, Trump appointees have officially closed the investigation. It's unclear what reasons FBI and DOJ gave for shutting down, but a Trump Justice Department appointee called the case a, quote, deep state probe. The investigation was launched in West Texas in the summer of 2024 after a separate investigation claimed that Homan was soliciting payments in exchange for awarding contracts for Trump should he win the presidential election. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of Texas, working with the FBI, asked the DOJ to join its ongoing probe into the border czar and the former border czar and the former acting director of immigration and ICE, Tom Homan, based on the evidence of payment from the FBI undercover agents. What they said is that Homan, who was served as the acting director of ICE early in Trump's first term, was openly claimed during the 2024 campaign he would play a prominent role. Thus, during the investigation, they allegedly, on September 20th, with hidden cameras recording the scene at a meeting spot in Texas, caught him accepting some $50,000 in bills, according to this internal summary. They then took the matter no further in the final months of 2024. Now, one of the reasons why I think that is important is that it was obviously in September in the lead up to the presidential election, but that the quid pro quo, if you will, had to be proven because of the way that the bribery laws are written. Simply accepting cash does not in and of itself mean that it's bribery, because you actually have to deliver, okay? Because we've changed the way that bribery,
you can take a bribe if
works
you rip the
in this country.
Off, yeah.
Tom Homan did address this last night on Fox News. Here's what he had to say.
I want to give you a chance to address this article that came out over the weekend, and it was on our always reliable MSNBC, and they said that you took $50,000 in cash in a bag from an undercover FBI agent to help them win government contracts in Trump's second term. The DOJ said they concluded there was no criminal wrongdoing, but nevertheless, that story is out there, and I imagine you want to respond to that.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I did nothing criminal. I did nothing illegal. And there's hit piece after hit piece after hit piece. And I'm glad the FBI and DOJ came out and said, said that nothing illegal happened and nothing, no criminal activity. You're talking about a guy who spent 34 years enforcing the law. I mean, I left a very successful business that I ran to come back and work for a government again. I'm back on a government paycheck. Not only did I sacrifice my family sacrifices, I make sacrifices every day. I got more death threats than anybody. I got a security team around me, but guess what? My kids don't. My wife don't. I mean, I haven't lived with my wife in months because I don't want her to be here right now with all the threats. So after all the sacrifices, after serving my nation for all these years, they want to come on and dirty me up. And it's not going to end. There's a hit piece on me every 2 weeks. But keep coming, because you know what? Tom Homan isn't going anywhere. Tom Homan isn't shutting up. And Tom Homan's going to keep doing what he's doing, because working with President Trump's the greatest honor of my life. We're making this country safer again every day, and we're going to keep doing it.
Kind of a non-denial denial there, because what he didn't say is I never took the money. What he said is I did nothing criminal, I did nothing illegal, which, I mean, technically true, right?
So far. Yeah.
So far, yeah. It does raise the question, though, about those tapes and whether they exist, honestly, or not. So, if you're in the FBI, it's time to put up or shut up. You should release it. If not, I mean, according to them, they've got it on camera. and they've got it on tape. Now, maybe the FBI, listen, you wouldn't put it past this FBI to delete it. But the reason why it is important is that Homan has always stressed his impartiality and his government service, and that he would never accept any quid pro quo or anything in service of his potential service in government. Here's what he previously said on Bill Maher's show.
If you want to send a message to the whole world, cross the border illegally, it's a crime, but it's okay. Have due process, get order removed by the immigration judge, don't leave, it's okay. Just don't commit another crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the whole world, people are going to keep coming. And let me tell you something, there's a whole, illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. But that's why you have to show there's consequences. Because if you send a message, there's no consequences, and you want to reward illegal behavior, that's not going to stop.
Right. So that's the question there about rewarding behavior if you don't show any consequences. And then finally, the White House itself also issued a flat denial that it never took place ever. A little bit, again, different than what Tom Homan said. Take a listen to Caroline Levitt.
Did the president ask the Justice Department to close the case, and does Homan have to return the $50,000?
Well, Mr. Homan never took the $50,000 that you're referring to, so you should get your facts straight, number one. Number two, this was another example of the weaponization of the Biden Department of Justice against one of President Trump's strongest and most vocal supporters in the midst of a presidential campaign. You had FBI agents going undercover to try and entrap one of the president's top allies and supporters, someone who they knew very well would be taking a government position months later. Mr. Homan did absolutely nothing wrong. And even the president's Department of Justice, even Kash Patel's FBI, looked into this just to make sure. They had a number of different prosecutors and FBI agents who looked into this. They found zero evidence of illegal activity or criminal wrongdoing. In the White House and the president stand by Tom Homan 100% because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and he is a brave public servant who has done a phenomenal job in helping the president shut down the border.
They say Mr. Homan never took the $50,000. So Ryan, that seems to be the crux of the question.
So I think there was a string on the cash, and so when he wasn't looking, they kind of reeled it back in. I do want to talk about the bribery laws, but first, my spidey sense is up on this story for a couple of reasons here. Did you notice who broke the story?
Ken Denlian.
No.
Yeah. Or sorry.
He's the second byline, Carol Lenning.
Yeah.
Who, for 25 years,
she works for the Washington Post.
Was the Washington Post star investigative reporter, with 3 Pulitzer Prizes under her belt. Now she leaves the Washington Post after this long storied career, and then within a month has published this massive story about Tom Homan. Obviously, she did not leave the Washington Post and then have some source say, I was just waiting for you to go to MSNBC to give you this incredible tip. And then she writes it with Ken Delanian. No, she clearly had the story. For some reason, she did not write it at the Washington Post. Wow. There is obviously a story there.
That's a good flag.
Why did she not write it at the Washington Post?
You should investigate that.
Separately, in the original reporting, it said that Homan was caught accidentally. He was kind of swept up in a broader FBI investigation. And so this happens in September 2024, even though it's, they don't have, let's say they don't have the crime or the indictment yet, they can still leak it. It's September of the election year. This is just be a big problem for Trump.
Right.
They decided not to do that. So they didn't leak it, and he was swept up kind of accidentally by chance in this investigation. That means whoever they were actually, whoever or whatever they were actually going after was much bigger than Tom Homan.
Oh, interesting.
And Tom Homan,
what do you think?
Tom Homan's a big fish.
Yeah, he is big.
So what kind of fish is bigger than Tom Homan? And if Lenning had this for a significant amount of time, chances are, not just there's a story within the Washington Post, but she too was probably hunting, like, what's the bigger story here? Bigger than, like, this is a good story. Like,
see, for people who are listening or watching, that is very important for the inside to kind of TikTok of how this stuff happened. Because this happened a year ago, right, at this point. So almost a year ago.
Wow, it's a year ago.
It's September 23rd that we're recording right now. So how long has she sat on it, right? You would think, if you get caught on camera and I'm Biden, I'm leaking that tomorrow. Before the, so what's going on with that? right? I mean, I'm not saying that's a just thing. It shouldn't work that way, but let's be honest. In the lead up to the election,
Trump would leak it,
right? Of course he would. Yeah, I mean, you kind of would be an idiot not to.
In fact, they are idiots not to.
Yeah. So wow. So what were they chasing that was bigger? Also, did you note the jurisdiction, West Texas?
Yes.
That's weird, right? And the reason why that's weird to me is like that is deep red country. That's like R plus 55 country. So even the U.S. attorney, and I get it, they're political, probably Democrats, et cetera. But even there, there's like some sensitivity in the FBI agents and the jurisdiction and all of that. So I would have to try and put it together.
If I had to get, they must have been running buck wild in West Texas, assuming,
which is classic for West Texas.
Exactly,
culturally appropriate.
Just assuming like that they're on a landman and like there are no laws. They're just going to bring the National Guard out to fight.
There are no laws out there, Ryan, because there's no lawmen. All right, that's the main lesson of landman.
And so somehow some lawmen got out there and were like, "Whoa, this is still the United States of America." And then somebody was like, actually, no, it's not.
Right.
This is West Texas.
Well, listen, let's track it. From my response is release the tapes, man. Now we got some more tapes. If you did nothing wrong, release it. Let's see it. Let's see what happened, your interaction with the FBI agents and all that. People have a right to know whether the people in charge are corrupt. But plot twist, they are. But, look, also, it's cartoonish. Anybody who is dumb enough to accept $50,000 in cash in a kava bag, like you have no reasonable... you shouldn't even be close to power, okay?
Right, because one argument would be, well, it's a consulting contract.
Yeah, in cash.
Cash in a kava bag.
In a kava bag? Yeah, right. The only thing I want in my kava bag are my harissa chips.
That's
right. So, real kava heads know the shout out.
They're so good.
They're so good. They're so good. All right, let's talk about bribery laws. I want you specifically to explain some of this down to me. Let's put this up here on the screen from SCOTUS blog. This is June 2024. We covered this heavy at the time, actually. The Supreme Court has now limited scope of anti-bribery laws. So what they ruled is that the federal anti-bribery law does not make it a crime for state and local officials to, quote, accept a gratuity for acts that they have already taken. They wrote for a 6-justice majority that the state and local governments officials already have to regulate gifts to officials, so the federal law does not supplement those state and local laws by subjecting some 19 million state and local officials up to 10 years in federal prison for accepting even commonplace gratuity. But this builds on other Supreme Court decisions, including that Virginia governor case about, what was it, Bob McDonnell, right? Where it eventually was overturned because the standards now it's kind of like defamation for media. Like you have to prove that not only were they accepting the money, they were doing so for an explicit quid pro quo, that quid pro quo was real, it was promised, and it was deliverable. And all of this is being caught on audio, on video, where they're like, I am accepting this so that you will get X, Y, and Z. It's no longer even like the original Menendez case where it's obviously corrupt to be flying around on private jets. Okay?
And then help a guy out.
And help a guy out. Yeah, come on. Like you would know that for anybody, but that didn't rise to the level. Well, that case, I think they were found guilty because it was a little different.
In the McDonnell case, they also redefined what a, quote, official act is,
that's
if you remember.
So important.
What McDonnell did, he made phone calls for the guy. He had a meeting at the governor's mansion for him. This is basically a supplement maker.
Yeah.
Gave him like $175,000 worth of gifts, and in exchange, McDonnell and also arranged meetings with lawmakers that he wanted. So McDonnell calls up and says, "Hey, like my guy's got a problem. Can you meet with him and fix this problem?" And what the Supreme Court and they did it. And he paid for that. What the Supreme Court says, none of those are official acts. It's like, what? The governor arranging a meeting with the lawmen?
The scope of the definition in all of these cases makes it so
almost impossible. You have to have a contract.
I was talking with Crystal about this, and her theory was that one of the reasons Biden and them didn't bring the case was the same thing. He's like, well, he didn't deliver the quid pro quo. We're not going to win, right?
What official act?
And then
he's
he'll
not
look
even
like
a government official.
Right, exactly. He's not even official. I don't know. It's sick, honestly, the way that we've basically legalized corruption here, but whatever. So that's the story. You can track it for what it is. Maybe it's a deep state hit job or not. Easy way to prove it. Just release the tape. Just tell us what's in the tape. If you're caught on camera accepting a $50,000 cash in kava bag, you're corrupt in my eyes. That's just maybe not in the eyes of the law. And I think that public officials should, of course, be held to the highest standard. If a media official did that and it ever leaked from Project Veritas or whatever, we'd be like, hey, come on, what's going on?
Can't do this.
Yeah, it was like, we can't do this. You're bringing people the news. And it's like 10,000 times less important than actually running the government, so whatever. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.